What's going on, Fanatic family? College football fans, SEC football fans. It's your boy Coach I. We're in here for another episode of the SEC Snap Count. We missed a week, but we back. We back at it to talk about last week. We had an eventful Saturday, as always, man. And listen, LSU protects home field against South Carolina. Alabama continues to win after starting the year slow. OU loses to Texas in the Red River Shootout. Georgia escapes Auburn. Oh, man. Ole Miss sleepwalks to a win over Wazoo. Texas A&M still undefeated over Florida, man. Tennessee and Arkansas in the shootout. We're going to talk about it all when we get back. Let's go ahead and talk about it.
No, I got you on this one, Coach. It ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The Fanatic. Well, we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina. Upstate, A64. Yeah. The FANATTIC. The Fanatic, where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I see.
Welcome back. That's right, man. SEC Snap Count is back, man. Y'all know on Mondays, if you've been watching, we do our SEC weekly reactions to the previous Saturday's football games, man. If you're new to the channel, Fanatic Sports Network, we talk SEC football and basketball all the time, every day. And Mondays and Wednesdays, we do SEC Snap Count. Mondays is the reaction show. Wednesdays is a preview for the upcoming week. Then on Tuesdays, you just like SEC ball, it's the Respect the Hedges show, talking all Georgia football. And then on Thursdays, we got all Gamecock football on the stat line with Jeff the Stat Guy. Listen, man, while you're here, man, you see down in the corner, SeatGeek is the partner of the show. Listen, if you're going to buy the tickets, you might as well save some money. SeatGeek, one of the best places to get you your sports tickets, any kind of sports tickets. Use promo code Fanatic Sports and get you a discount. You might as well save money if you're going to buy them anyway. Listen, man, it's Monday. Y'all already know, man. We got our guys, Stat Guy in the building. What's going on, Stat Guy?
Hey, what's going on tonight, Coach?
Hey, nothing. Listen, we halfway through the season. We blink and it's gone.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. The off-season drags. Football can't get here soon enough. Now, look, half the season gone. At this point, you either think you got a shot, you know your season's cooked, or you on the bubble somewhere. Unfortunately, hey, let's just go win 6 games in a row and see what happens.
Hey, ain't this the point last year when y'all turned it on and won a whole bunch of games, right?
Yeah, it means same 3-3 last year, same spot. So it's got a different feel in Soda City this year than it did last year. But hey, man, you never know. And Beamer, we trust, I guess.
There you go, man. Listen, SEC Snap Count on the Fanatic Sports Network on Mondays. Y'all know it's a 3-man crew, and the third man is the crew. It's Shawty Parker. What's going on, Shawty?
Gentlemen, what's happening?
Hey, Shawty, season about to be over, dog.
Well, you know, we had the midway point, you know, so, you know, I mean. I tell you one thing about this year, Coach. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of teams still figuring it out.
Week 7 going into week 8. I agree with you there, though. Like, in the SEC, what's been the biggest shocker this year to you?
Wow, it's been a couple. I mean, really, Ole Miss, Vandy. Yeah.
What about
just the conference as a whole, man. I mean,
it's wide open.
Well, I mean, it's truly rugged. I mean, it's a very competitive conference.
Honestly, I do think it's about 7-8 teams that win this thing. Stat, what's you been surprised by in the SEC this year?
Single player, Le'Veon Moss. I did not expect. I was not. I figured he would get some touches. We may see some flashes of what he used to be. I was not expecting him to be that guy all year long. I mean, he don't even look like he blew his knee last year. So he by far has been the biggest. And I'm happy for it. I mean, you never want to see a kid get hurt, especially not somebody that's good. But to come back, 9-10 months after the injury, like it never happened. We don't see that too often.
Man, I'm with you because I was watching them play Saturday again, just in amazement, man. Like a lot of times, physically the doctors clear them, they back. When you tear your ACL, it's a mental thing too. That dude, like he forgot all about the injury and everything. He looked like he looked last year before the injury. So shout out to Le'Veon Moss, man. You got a lot of firings going on. What's up?
I was gonna say when you talk about before you went to the next one, when you talk about just individual effort and player just kind of piggybacking off stat guy, what about the transfer from Georgia and went to Missouri? He's having a hell of a year.
Damon Wilson, listen, don't forget about Darius Smith, who transferred the year before. He's out there on the edge too at Mizzou. Listen, get a lot of pressure, which we knew they could do. Hey, sometimes you got to find a better situation or, maybe more snaps. I think that was at the end of the day. I think both of them left because of more snaps.
And different roles too.
Different roles, yeah. Like you don't have to be out in coverage and things of that nature when you're playing for the most part at Mizzou. When you're playing an outside linebacker in Athens, you got to be able to rush the guy. You got to be able to set the edge, and you got to be able to get out there in coverage. So, all right, shout out to them guys, man. Wish they were still in Athens, rushing the passer since we can't seem get there on a consistent basis. But hey, man, they had to do what was best for them, and it seems like it's turning out good. Genesis in the building. What's going on, Genesis? Say what's up, fellas. Appreciate you getting in, my guy. Genesis, what's your biggest surprise of the SEC football season so far? So while we wait on Genesis to give us that answer, listen, man, we all know, I know it ain't the SEC, but Franklin, Penn State got fired. And the only reason why I bring that up, because it's just a long list of firings going on right now. South Carolina fired their O-line coach this morning, right? Yesterday morning. Sam Pittman's week or two removed from his job. Like, hey, man, who next? Who could be the next coach in the SEC fire stat?
Billy Napier when they lose to Mississippi State. Which is what I've said. All I'm saying is I texted you when Penn State got beat by UCLA and told you hot seat. So I've said it since the beginning of the year. The Mississippi State game is Billy Napier's final stop. So hopefully the Bulldogs prove me right.
Hey, Shawty, you agree? You agree, Shawty?
Yeah, I mean that's where I was going with Billy Napier, but I go ahead and say Stoops.
You think you think before the season or after the season?
Hey, depending on how bad Texas and Tennessee beat up on the next few weeks.
You say it might call the shot. I won't doubt it. Listen, because this is the thing. When you see all these coach firemen, I didn't mention Virginia Tech, let they coach go. You know what I'm saying? A lot of jobs are open. UCLA job is open. It's like when a lot of jobs is open, now the administration starts saying, hey, man, we got to jump out there. And if we was teetering on a candidate, on a coach right now, we might have to go ahead and let him go so we can get out here and get in this fire.
Copycat lead, man.
Right. Genesis says he's surprised by Ole Miss being ranked ahead of the Dogs. Okay. I'm assuming because I think he meant like coming into the season, he wouldn't have thought that Ole Miss was going to be ranked ahead of the Dogs this year. I don't think he's saying now because they are 6-0 and we are 5-1. So I think that's pretty much self-explanatory. So Stoops gone after the season, he say. I think that's the consensus. What about Hugh Freeze? He good down in Auburn?
No, I don't think so, man.
That's going to depend a lot on how they lose going down the stretch. I think they're not done losing football games. I think it's going to look about how they lose. If they get boat raced by somebody, that could be all she wrote. And as far as the Stoops thing, I do think this is his last year in Kentucky, but it's Kentucky. Football's not a priority. They're not going to pull the trigger before the season's over.
I mean, like I said, they got their next 2 games are some whoppers. And if they just go in and just get embarrassed,
because Tennessee is their rival, you know, so one of their rivals. So I'm with you, Shorty. Like if it started looking like routish. But Tennessee, I'm gonna tell you. So Genesis said he was saying coming into the season he didn't think Ole Miss would ever be, you know, ranked ahead of Georgia this particular season.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think at this point in the season, a surprise for me, since y'all took some good ones, is I have to say Lenora Sellers not looking like Lenora Sellers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, while I'm a pocket passing quarterback type of guy, Lenore's is dynamic, and he just hasn't, you know. And I think me and Stat talked about this a lot in the offseason. Not having Rocket back there is I mean, I know the line ain't good, but the line wasn't great last year. It was better. It was better, but it wasn't great. But having Rocket back there definitely helped. And I think was it Rashawn?
Rasul
Faison, I think he's good, but he's not Rocket. And on top of that, the line ain't blocking as well.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just we had Rocket. We had 2021 Arkansas Rocket back there. Dude was a monster. And I know we normally keep it all SEC. I will give one shout out outside the conference for biggest surprise. And coming into this year, I thought Tony Elliott was going to get fired. And now he's got the Who's up in Whoville. Like they trying to go to
just rip one off.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. I'm glad you brought that up, Stat, because this goes to something Shawty always say about when we be talking about teams. Like Mississippi State has to be a surprise, right? They, you know, not undefeated, but they playing a lot better ball. It's Mississippi State. Shawty always say you get the same piece of the pie, so why not us? So the reason why I say that, you brought up Virginia rolling right now. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, now I know they made the playoffs last year, but their defense look like they're a little bit for real. And it goes to we get the same piece of the pie. Indiana. Signetti got Indiana rolling, go to Outson Stadium, pretty much stifle Oregon in the second half, or Oregon couldn't even do nothing. So all around the league.
Vandy rolling.
Vandy, that was the next one. Breaking it back to the SEC. Vandy is better than, you know, normal. So it's like
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech about to be, you know what I'm saying, in the top 10 if they win this week. And it may be, who knows what's going on. They undefeated.
And that's one of the things, you know, we talk all the time. It feels like everybody in the SEC this year has a 5-game stretch. And they're all either getting it started or they're in the middle of it. They all have 5-game stretches. Virginia and Georgia Tech play the school for the deaf and the school for the blind the rest of the season. Like you can't find a loss on their schedule even trying to. Like if you play in the win-loss game, like you ain't finding no even toss-up, even trying to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. And so when the schedule's in your favor and you're playing good football, hey, go win football games and see what happens.
Hey, that put pressure on these SEC coaches to go out here and win in these for a couple of years. Listen, not for nothing. You know, some of these coaches, they not like, I mean, Hugh Freeze in his third year. Again, you could say, hey, we should give a guy 4 or 5 years. Frank Cinetti in his second year at Indiana. That's all I'm saying.
And coach, you know, just speaking of Indiana, I don't know if it was in one of our chats, but they had in the chat Ohio State, Miami, or Indiana, which ranked 1, 2, and 3. For the rest of the year, they don't play any ranked teams.
See how they go? But that's what I'm saying. Like when you come in and you winning, you got people turning around Virginia, you got people turning around Vandy, you got Jeff Levy looking good at Mississippi State. Teams ain't giving you a whole bunch of like schools like what? Why are we giving you 5 years? With the transfer portal, the NIL, Texas Tech out here undefeated, you know, or whatever they is. It's like in the SEC where it just means more. You gotta get it together or get going. You know what I'm saying? So,
last thing from me, Shorty, something for you to look forward to. I'm a huge fan of chaos. I love tiebreaker chaos. Let it fall all the way down the list. Give us some coin tosses. I want all the craziness. There is a legit shot that you have a 3-way undefeated tie atop the ACC. And could there be a path where number 2 ranked Miami doesn't play for the ACC championship, which would be hilarious. And so that's what I'm rooting for week in and week out. Let us get a crazy tiebreaker that keeps a top ranked team.
You assume that Miami loses a game in that scenario?
No. Miami.
So you say you can have 3 undefeated ACC teams. Miami being the number 2 team in the nation won't pay for their conference championship.
There is a way. It's not guaranteed, but because because your rankings don't matter.
I get it. I was just in the scenario that would be ugly.
Georgia Tech could like we say when they don't play a whole hard schedule, the Georgia Tech could be undefeated, Virginia could be undefeated, and Miami could be undefeated. So it's crazy out here though.
But that could work in Miami's favor. One less game.
But this is the thing. Currently in the SEC, since let's bring it back to the SEC. Currently in the SEC, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and Alabama are all undefeated in SEC play, and neither of the 3 play each other. So technically, it could happen if Ole Miss beats Georgia and wins out. Alabama beats Tennessee, in a week or 2 or what third Saturday in October and wins out. This week, yep. And then Texas A&M wins out. You got a 3-way tie where somebody gonna be ranked in the top 5, or all 3 of these teams could be ranked in the top 10, and somebody could not play in the SEC championship. It's getting it's wild and wacky like that. Well, you ain't got no division, shouting.
But I think Miami's case is just so interesting because being the number 2 team in the nation going into championship weekend for the conferences, you not playing, how bad are you going to be penalized for not playing in the? See what I'm saying?
You won't be because you know why? Because it's the top 4 seeds.
But are in the conference champions guaranteed?
No. Yeah. They're guaranteed to get in, but they're not guaranteed the top 4 seeds.
Right, that's right. So
like you said,
Miami was still. So I'm saying that would be an advantage to Miami.
I'll be honest with you. If I'm Miami, I ain't mad if I don't go
because I'm still be the number 2 seed and ain't got to play.
Right. But same could be said for Texas A&M, Alabama, and Ole Miss, because all of those are in the top 10 right now. So you would think if they all went out, you're looking at 3 of the top 6 teams in the nation. So whoever doesn't make it, they probably gonna be in the top 4. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have that week to play. Whoever lose the SEC championship game probably gonna be out the top 4. They're still gonna be in the top 10. Right. But we'll see if that actually ends up being like that. What's going on? The thievery say hook 'em. That's old BNG to change his name.
The thievery.
Right. Hey, what's going on?
About stealing about that.
Right. They just straight up. Speaking of, I'm glad he brought it up, man. Texas over OU in the Red River Shootout. Give me your thoughts, Shawty. Did you think this was going to happen? Did you think it was going to? I thought it was going to be a low-scoring game. That's all I'll say from my side. But what did you think was going to happen and how did that play out based on what you thought was going to happen?
I also thought it was going to be a low-scoring game. I think I had like 24-17 or something like that.
Okay.
But I honestly thought OU would win the game. I thought their chances would increase, actually, if Mateer played. But it's a good chance that he got out there a little too soon. And that kind of cost him the game. I won't go into the minutia until unless we want to get into it. But just right now, I just think that cost him the game. And I was surprised that Texas defense came to play. And I was surprised. I think they kind of maybe have opened up. I don't want to say they have maybe given the game plan. Oh, you might be in trouble because they got a mean stretch coming up too.
Well, I came into the week thinking Mateer was not going to play. I figured both defenses was good. I felt like OU's front 7 caused more havoc. I felt like Texas is just good on every level, but they may not cause the same, like they may have the same sack rate as OU or, tackles for loss. I don't know the exact numbers, but I just felt like secondary wise, Texas secondary was better coming into the game. So I feel like Texas wasn't going to give up a lot, but I also thought Texas O-line wasn't going to be, good. I figured OU's O-line wasn't going to be good. And I didn't think Mateer was going to play. I thought Michael Hawkins was going to play. And I figured like with Mateer coming in with the injury, you was going to be trying to worry about the injury. Don't really want to get him hurt. You know, can he still throw the ball the same? And I thought I actually thought that took away from OU, to be honest with you. I said that OU was going to win 17-7, but because I figured some defensive turnovers. I honestly I told Stat I almost picked this game to be 7-3, to be honest, because both defense was really good. Arch hadn't been playing the best. He hadn't been playing terrible, but he hadn't been playing the best. The O-line hadn't held up. And shout out to Texas for going in there and getting the wins. Stat, what about you?
Yeah, you know, I told you earlier last week, I felt this was going to be a race to 10. I felt both teams' defenses were way better than the offenses they were going up against. The Mateer play in his head scratching. And to me, whether it was a BV call or whatever, the Hail Mary at the end of the first half and not taking the 3, we talk about it all the time. You got to have your finger on the pulse of how the game is playing. It's a low-scoring game. You take your 3 points, you go up 9-3 at the half, and now you have the momentum.
Manage that well at all, Stat guy. Just the time management with the timeout, letting the 25 seconds run off. It just I don't know where he. Yeah, I was.
I think this was a lot. Again, I know the eyes tell you material was the reason. I get it, but a lot of these decisions was gonna be preventable. You know what I'm saying? I know he got cleared, but if I'm the coach, if I can't call the full playbook, then I don't care that you're cleared. I don't want you to play because now my playbook is limited. And even though Michael Hawkins can't do everything Mateer does, you know exactly what you can call with Michael Hawkins, and Michael Hawkins ain't got no physical limitations. So I thought he would have been a better runner than Mateer was this past Saturday because he ain't worried about no injuries. And I think straight line speed, he faster anyway. But throwing the ball, you may have lose something. But we said this before the season. As good as Mateer is, he'll put that ball in harm's way, injured or not. And I don't feel like Michael Hawkins would have, if anything, he probably would have took more sacks or threw the ball away more type deal. So that could have changed the complexity of the game. Texas still could have won. I just felt like, coming into the game, they should have just went with Michael Hawkins.
As a head coach, I'm gonna tell you something, and I know he had the pulse on everything that was going on with Mateer from the staff. When that man's hand busted open and it was bleeding from wherever they had, I don't care. At that point, you got to make the executive decision to go with your backup.
Right. I feel like the same thing.
100% healthy.
I remember he got tackled and he got up, and I seen on his the back of it was his thigh. I was like a hamstring. I was like, is that blood or is that paint? And I was like, that like blood. I'm like that, and then the next timeout or whatever he was sitting on the sideline, it was like the cut came open or whatever. I'm like, why is this dude going back in the game? Now every time he runs, he's trying to protect that thumb, so he's not the same dynamic Mateer.
And he had to be full of pain, man. He had to be in pain.
Right. So shout out to Texas. The punt return killed him. It absolutely demoralized them, and then Arch did what they game plan for him to do. They didn't take a whole bunch of shots because, again, smart coach knows OU's got this dynamic front seven. They're going to cause a lot of disruption and havoc. You got to get the ball out quick. You know what I'm saying? You can't be sitting back there patting the ball trying to go downfield every play. So shout out to Sark and all the play calling. And he was highly efficient, 21-27, you know what I'm saying? So they came in, did their job, 23-6, I think the end score was. They did hurt me on the college football pick 'em. I was like, dang, you couldn't even keep it within the 5 points they was given.
Well, I was going to say the big thing for me is that, you only got beat by 17. Obviously, we've seen worse in this rivalry. But to come out and have the other team take their belt off at halftime and lay it across your backside, that second half was hard to watch.
Listen, we talk about this all the time, and Shawty, especially me and you, we talk about Georgia adjusting at halftime. OU's defense played lights out in the first half. Lights out. And then it came out in the second half, and they missed some tackles here, missed some tackles there. It's like it just didn't have that same feel. You think that was because the offense wasn't moving the ball, or?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be able to play complementary football. At some point in time, it's going to show that it's going to show, coach. You know what I'm saying? No matter how good your defense is, you know what I'm saying. And then don't let the other team, start scoring a few points. That just put even more pressure on you.
Right, and Quincy Wisner, I thought Wisner, the running back from Texas, he had 94 yards, but it felt like he had 200 because it was like right when they needed a stop in the second half, he'd hit him for 8, 9, 10, 15-yard run here or there, just to keep the drive alive, right up the middle, nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like he was running around the middle. I mean, running around the edge.
That's something I don't understand about OU. Is like they cannot establish the run. I mean, I don't know what's going on with that. They just have no running game without the quarterback being the focal point.
Which is why I said for this past weekend, given Mateer was hurt, Michael Hawkins would have been a better option because we looked at the carries. They had 30 carries. Mateer had 14 of them. So if you're going to let your quarterback, and if somebody else is escaping, when Texas is getting back there, it's not quarterback call runs. But again, if I got to have somebody carrying the ball 14 times, whether it's design runs or escaping the pressure, I'd rather have the healthy guy doing it. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because the pass wasn't all that great. And he was throwing into some tight windows and against a really good secondary. I'm like, bro, like, what are we doing? Like you say, right before halftime, you throw it up and yeah, the pick don't get Texas no points, but it's still like kind of demoralizing to the offense to see you turn the ball over, can't move the ball, and then after a while, like you say, I don't know, it's right. It's just it's momentum. And shout out to Texas for getting that dub in the Red River. This is 2 in a row, 3 out of the last 4. So it's gonna be interesting to see, like you say, OU going forward. I'm interested to see they got South Carolina up next in Columbia. I'm interested to see if Mateer plays or if they go with Hawkins. I personally think they should go with Hawkins until Mateer has no limitations. But
he has to be sore, right? He had his hand has to be sore, if nothing else.
Right. What about you, Stat? You think Mateer's playing this Saturday?
I think BV's job is on the line because if they don't win Saturday, they don't win the rest of the year. And I think he's gonna roll with Mateer. You brought in Ben Arbuckle to try to save your job. You got to go with the guys that you were planning on saving your job. But I don't know if it's the right decision because we know that they're not going to run the ball without it being in the quarterback's hands. And that is the one weakness of South Carolina not getting off the field. And so if they're not going to try to establish the run, even if it doesn't work right away, and try to bust that thing open, then I don't like their chances. It's going to be you're going to look at another 10-7, 13-10 type game in the fourth quarter. And in games like that, it's decided by one play. And the one thing we say about South Carolina is they love to play in chaos. And that's kind of the team you're going to put your money on in a game that's going to end up 10-13.
Going into Columbia, OU's better shot with Michael Hawkins or John Mateer starting.
Wow.
It's a tough one.
It's tough because it's just really based off his health. Now, if he's healthy, like they saying he healthy, ain't nothing wrong with him for real. You got to go with Mateer.
Right.
But man, if it behind the scenes, the man ain't 100%. If he's 75, 80%, I don't know if that's better than 100% Michael Hawkins at this point because to stat guy point, if you don't beat South Carolina, you might not win another game, Coach. Do you see this stretch on their schedule?
It's brutal.
Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU.
That Tennessee is at Tennessee. I think Ole Miss is at home. LSU, I think, is at home. But like we talking about people that play like Ole Miss and LSU definitely playing really good defense, and Tennessee can score a lot of points, even if you get to them sometimes. BNG say they obviously didn't have faith in Hawkins. I mean, obviously for some reason or another, and you say Mateer is greater than Hawkins. Healthy, I agree.
Because he practiced all week long. You stay watching all week.
Not healthy, I think it's a wash, and I'm going with the guy that at least gonna give me the best athletic chance. So
I think for me, the biggest thing is once we saw the hand busted back open, not taking him out was a disservice to the team and the player because now you're risking further injury. Now, I mean, you look after that, even running the ball, dropping back, everything was completely different. And it's like, okay, maybe he can toughen through the pain this week, still practice and everything. What happens if he gets hit on the hand again this week?
Yeah, he's not going to get healthier.
Right.
No.
So
right.
it's only going to get worse. And when you look at these defenses they're going up against, a lot of them can get pressure with the front four against an O-line for Oklahoma that struggles to protect the quarterback anyway. And it's like but again, like I've said, I think BV's job is on the line this year. And he's probably looking down the bench and it's like, how the hell do we beat any of these teams with Michael Hawkins?
Yeah, only one way to find out. Listen, this week they roll into Columbia to take on South Carolina for what we call a new snoozer around here. South Carolina coming off a loss to LSU where it wasn't a lot of points scored, but you never really felt like South Carolina could kind of get over the hump after they didn't capitalize. It was 10-7. South Carolina is driving in the third quarter, first drive of the third quarter. They running the ball right down LSU's throat, and then one of the receivers gets a defensive. I think it was either a pick type of holding interference or a holding play, something like that, but it was back 10 yards. And I'm like, after that, they didn't get no more yards on that drive for pretty much. Then they have to punt. It stopped the momentum stat. And I felt like on that drive, if you score on that drive touchdown, you make it 14-10. You got ourselves a ball game now. But not scoring right there, it kind of did you in. And me and you talked about it. You was like, you didn't think you was going to be able to get to 17.
Yeah, once we didn't score there, I thought we were going to have to win 13-10. We did go on to tie it at 10, but once they scored the touchdown on the 42-yard slant route, then I told you right then the game was over on that touchdown because I didn't think we had it in us to score a touchdown. And they were doing a great job of taking care of the ball. Nuss played really, really good Saturday and he looked healthy. You could see he looked different. He looked healthy. So that was good to see for them, even if it was against my boys. 4 drives inside of LSU's 35, where we had first down inside of LSU's 35. All 4 of them, the very next play was a penalty, whether it be a false start, a holding. And it's just our offense is barely built to get 10 yards in 4 downs. We definitely can't be trying to get 15 or 20. And so those type of penalties are drive killers. And you get that deep and it's like, it's just gut wrenching. It's like, why couldn't this have happened at the beginning of the drive and just punt the ball away and whatever? But to put the drive together, feel like you're in good shape and then trip yourself up. It's why the offensive line coach got fired Sunday.
That's fact. Shout out to our future getting in our other Texas guy. He says thoughts and prayers to the clowns in Norman. It ain't over till it's over. Shawty, you was gonna say something when Stat talked about how their offense ain't barely built to get 10 yards in 4 downs. You was about to say something on that.
No, I was just agreeing with him. I mean, that kind of, I kind of agree with everything he said. And my point was going to be that it's just like, they just let you know, like, the type of team you guys are. Your margin for error is like that. You know what I'm saying? You can't afford to kill drives with momentum and you can't come back. You can't afford to be trying to wait to halftime and make adjustments and things like that. And especially when you're playing like a good LSU team. But I also think that shows a lot more of LSU vulnerability too. They may not be as good as I thought they were going to be this year in totality.
Right. Genesis says no disrespect, Stat, but SC is who we thought they were. I say this. I told Stat in the offseason the 2 biggest misses or 2 biggest departures from the offense was going to be Rocket Sanders and the tight end. And I get that you got a good running back to replace him. He's just not that guy you needed a Rocket more than ever this year with the offensive line taking a step back. Mm-hmm. Yes, they played better for Rocket than they do this particular year, which helped Lenoris a lot. And then Lenoris also had a reliable, again, I don't know if the tight end this year is not reliable, but all I know is he ain't there to bail him out. Like,
he got to be a better delivery system, Lenoris. He got to be a better delivery system.
You saying that he ain't making the right reads, or he ain't getting the ball to them where they can make plays?
I mean, it could be a little bit of both. I'm just saying, as a quarterback, as a very hype top 5 type of quarterback, you have to be a better delivery system. You're not this hype just based off of your legs. You know what I'm saying? You're obviously supposed to be able to throw the ball. So you have to show progression from year 1 to year 2 in how you deliver the ball, whether you're in the pocket, outside the pocket, off platform, or wherever to be. You have receivers, you have bodies. You have to be able to deliver the ball to these bodies.
Right. But
outside the pocket, he's actually more accurate, but I don't see a lot of calls.
You move the pocket. Yeah, you move the pocket.
But that's on the OC, and I don't see a lot of that stat. You can speak to this. I don't see Shula calling a whole bunch of things where he's moving the pocket. I mean, yes, Lenoris runs outside the pocket when he's escaping the pressure. That's another thing you can do to alleviate the pressure is move the pocket, and I don't see Shula doing that to help Lenoris out.
Shula's super old school, wants a pro style offense, wants you to step up in the pocket.
That kind of quarterback.
I know, but the problem is people are blaming a lot of this season on what Lenoris has been, and obviously he hasn't had the eye-popping plays that he did last year. There's been some. We don't have the wins yet to make him pop as much. But when he's outside of the pocket or he's on the run, he completes 80% of his passes. For the season, he's completing like 67% of the passes. It's not on Lenoris. It's Lenoris is getting sacked a bunch. And
hold on, a lot of that could be RPO, the main number run. So let's not just exacerbate his completion percentage.
No, but I'm just saying, but that's our offense. You can't say, oh,
I'm just talking about his 64%. If they laterals, you know what I mean, and screens, I mean that's just
no, but we don't. That's not. I mean, we have probably the play that you see the most often. We have a play where the tight end comes across like he's pulling. They fake it to the running back, and then they hit the tight end out in the flats. Outside that, we don't throw bubble screens. We throw the halfback screen about once a game. But I get it. Most of our stuff is around the line of scrimmage, which is why his yards aren't great. Right. But, I mean, the sacks he's taking, like, as great as he is for getting away from sacks, he got sacked 5 times. And he probably got out of another 6 or 7. Like, it easily could have been 11 or 12 Saturday night. And so – again, it goes back to, I think the move firing the O-line coach came about 2 or 3 weeks too late because we have seen this. I probably would have done it after the Mizzou game where we had 14 penalties on our offensive line, 9 of them being pre-snap. That probably would have been my final straw, but we'll see. Maybe the O-line, hearing a different voice, takes a step forward on some of their procedural issues. I think they are who they are blocking. I don't think that's going to change week from week. Maybe slightly, but if we can clean up some of the procedural stuff and quit putting ourselves in a hole, I think we could see Lenoris do a little bit more.
Yeah, as far as those procedures, man, number 74, Josiah, what's his name, Thompson,
yeah.
Freshman All-American last year. You can't have 3, false starts on one drive, dog. Like, that's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like you say, hopefully with Sean Elliott taking over, we know he's a good O-line coach. Hopefully at least cutting down on the procedural penalties to, to kill drives, because those are drive killers. We see that in every game, every week throughout the nation, to be honest with you. So Benji says lots of OU fans are dismissing South Carolina, but they play hard, tough at home, and they still are playing hard. That's one thing. Like Shawty mentioned this with Kentucky and South Carolina. Was it Kentucky and South Carolina? Yeah, Kentucky and South Carolina a couple of weeks ago. He said, we're going to see who quit on their coach and who don't quit on their coach. And South Carolina ain't quitting on Beamer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been, on record. I like OU's defense, especially that front 7. I feel like that front 7 right now, I don't think there's a better front 7 in the nation. That's just my opinion. But the offense don't scare nobody. I'll be honest with you. Like, even with the healthy material, they're good, but they ain't like unstoppable because they ain't got no running backs that's really good. Their O-line isn't good, and their wide receivers are good, but they ain't, I don't know. I think they can, I'm not saying that they can beat all good defensive secondary. So I think if OU is going to win Saturday, that defense is going to have to get some turnovers. Or be like when they played Auburn and got like the 10 sacks or 9 tackles for loss or whatever it actually ended up being. I think it's going to have to be something similar to that.
I think a team like Oklahoma, though, with the way that South Carolina is playing, it kind of favors Oklahoma's defense. That I think they'll be able to pin their ears back and just send a lot of people after Lenore's.
I think that's what they're going to have to do.
I will say, while I have not been a fan of Shula calling plays this year, the one thing I have liked is while it hasn't been successful, he is going to run the football. And we're going to stay very balanced to where they're not just able to load the box up with a bunch of guys, or they're not able to sit back in a heavy coverage. Not that OU would, that's not BV's style, but I'm very interested to see how that works. The good thing is Lenore's isn't Jackson Arnold, and we might take 5 sacks. I just don't see a team getting 11 sacks on him.
Yeah, it's hard to get him down to the ground. We saw that in LSU. They was consistently, around him in the backfield. If nothing else, he's going to get back to the line of scrimmage. And if your DBs aren't, disciplined, then he'll find somebody down the field. So we'll see how that's going. What's going on, Susie? She say, what's going on, guys? Susie Dickerson getting in the building. Appreciate you getting in. Next game on tap, man, is that Texas A&M taking out Florida. Florida played them really good. But then Texas A&M just was too much in the end. God, what's his name? Reed was on fire. He was running the ball. So I think the announcer said he's like a rhythm shooter. Once he started hitting, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how it was. I saw something on the socials today where they panned in on DJ, and DJ didn't look too happy with some of the play calls in the second half. I couldn't actually read his lips, but he didn't look too happy with how the offense was being played. Shaw, do you get a chance to watch the Gators take a L to A&M?
I saw a little bit of, it was kind of went how I expected, man. Florida's just not a good offensive team, man. I hate to say it, as much as, potential or ceiling you want to say DJ Lagway has, his P's is not adding up. His potential and is not adding. His play not adding up. I don't see it. Like he needs a scenery change. Like I don't like what I see out of him as a quarterback, to be honest.
I think you just hit it. I think he needs a scenery change. I think he needs to hit the portal. I know he's, Napier's kind of tied to what DJ can do because they went all in to get DJ. And you'll see flashes like he'll make a play where he'll, layer the ball. Like I think he threw one pass over the safety, and I mean he couldn't have walked it out there and handed it to the receiver any better. It dropped right in the bucket. But then it's like sometimes you hold the ball too long. They running game Ball. I like Jaden Ball. He's good, but like you say, as a whole, you don't come into the game thinking, "Oh man, Florida about to score all these points," on whoever they're playing. And then you got Texas A&M Stat who got the good defense. So does this game go how you thought it was going to go, Stat?
Florida was a little bit more competitive. I thought A&M being at home was going to put them away in the first half. Florida put up a good fight to start the game, and then the talent just ended up wearing them down, I guess. That A&M defense is for real. Obviously, we knew it would be with what Elko's going to do on that side of the ball. And again, Le'Veon Moss being back to who he was last year. And I was not high on Marcel Reed coming into the year, but he impressed me a lot Saturday night. I thought he had a really good game. He looks like he's comfortable. And
right.
that's a big thing. You these guys that had all the hype, Arch earlier in the year look comfortable.
Right. You with us, Stat?
So Marcel looks comfortable.
Got some aluminum foil around the antenna or something.
Yeah, we got you now. Look like we got you now. Yeah. You was in and out for a minute, but you said Marcel Reed looks comfortable more so than some of these guys that came in with the hype. I'm with you. He does, and I think Elko was saying that at in the beginning of the season. He was like, y'all touting all these other quarterbacks, and he was putting out stats out there for Marcel. And hey man, sometimes you just got to go out and show them. Now I'm interested to see down the stretch what's going to happen again. We all know that Texas A&M is traditionally 8 or 9 wins, and that's it. Now they 6-0 right now, but that means they got 6 more games, and they could easily go 3-3. This year in the SEC is just, you just don't know. Now one thing I think they got going for them, like you said, is they can run the ball, whether it's the quarterback, Le'Veon Moss, or the running backs, and they can throw the ball. And they can stop the run. So in the SEC, it's a trench league. That's how it's got to be. So Florida takes another L. What does that put their record at right now? Ain't they like 3-4, 2-4, 3-4, something like that?
I don't know what
it's getting tight. It's getting tight for Napier, dog.
Like I said earlier, all you got to do is turn on the TV Saturday, and you can watch his final game in the swamp.
So Florida currently is 2-4, 1-2 in the SEC. They beat LIU Sharks and they beat Texas, and then they took losses to South Florida, LSU, Miami. Now and Texas A&M. I will say this: they were at LSU, at Miami, and at Texas A&M. So they've won at home. They won at home versus LIU and Texas. Lost at home versus USF. They got to go. They get Mississippi State at home. They got the Dogs at the neutral site. Then they go on the road to Kentucky and on the road to Ole Miss, finishing the season with Tennessee and Florida State at home. Hey, she said, "Shawty, you wrong for that." Napier is out as well. That's what we were saying at the beginning of the show. I think he is the next one on the chopping block again. The more coaches get fired, the more pressure it puts on the coaches already on the hot seat. I just believe that. So you believe that Mississippi State is going to beat Florida this weekend, right, Seth?
Yeah, Mississippi State's going to Gainesville, getting the dub.
That's tough right there.
We get another tweet about 12:30 in the afternoon on Sunday. Billy Napier has been relieved of his duties at the University of Florida.
That's tough. That's tough, man. Now listen, we talk about one of the undefeated SEC teams, Ole Miss. They kind of sleptwalk over Wazoo. I was checking in on that game earlier. It was a noon snoozer. Washington State came to Ole Miss and was up early on Ole Miss. And it took Ole Miss a little while to get started. You thought it was you think it was the noon kickoff? Because technically I think it was 11 Central. Or do you think it was the noon kickoff and they was looking ahead to Georgia?
Yeah, I think having I mean, you could consider Wazoo a Power 4, but Group of 6, whatever you want to call them. But having that in the middle of your SEC slate, brutal. Absolutely. Like, once you get an SEC play, I don't need anything else interfering with that. Like, give me all my SEC teams. And so I think they were completely looking ahead. I think they thought they were going to put it away early first quarter and maybe early second quarter and then ball game. And now here you are in the third quarter and you in a dogfight. They got lucky they pulled it out because, that ain't the game you want to lose before Georgia.
Right. Shawty. Austin Simmons he's 100% healthy and available, but it's the Trinidad Chambliss show. You think he lost his job?
Unfortunately, they a lot of people, the old additive is that, you can't or you shouldn't lose your job to injury, but it's been shown time and time again that ain't how it is anymore. And you got to ride the hot hand. I like Ole Miss. They always scares me. I always tell people about a team like Ole Miss or any team that can score points scares me.
Right.
I don't care what kind of defense they play. And if they can score points, you know what I'm saying, it just scares me. And this guy here, man, I like what I see. I mean, he can throw it, he can run it. I mean, it looked like he knows the offense. So, maybe I'm just saying, maybe we can pick up the guy out the portal.
Hey, you never know. I think Austin Simmons, if it does hold steady, that I think Austin Simmons will hit the portal because Chambliss is I know he came from FCS, but I think he has 2 years.
Yeah, he's only a junior.
He's only a junior. So if I'm Austin Simmons, I'm like, hey man, it's been real. But if I lost my job, but that could easily change, and we know it can, depending on what the Dogs do against the quarterback. Chambliss come in. I think, of course, Lane's not gonna commit to either quarterback because he wants you to prepare for both, which is smart, from the coach's side. But I think I'm with you, Shorty. I think you got to ride the hot hand. This dude's been straight balling out of control. He's a super duper athlete, dog, and I don't think he's too tall. I think he might be right at 6 foot, if I'm not mistaken. But the dude can make all the throws you want. He can hurt you with his legs. So Ole Miss is undefeated stat. They beat Wazoo, even though they slept through it. Like you say, not a game you want in the middle, so you can stay focused. But then they got to take on the Dogs coming up. So you think Lane plays both, or he's just gonna stick with the high hand?
No, Lane is one thing I'll say about him. Whoever his guy is on Saturday, the wheels got to fall off the bus before we see the other one. And he's gonna that's his guy. And I think it is Chamis. I think that he's won the locker room over. I think they see him as the leader of the team. And you hate it because I think it's Austin Simmons would never play bad enough to lose the team or to lose his starting job. But unfortunately, it's a dog-eat-dog world.
That's how it be, man. That's how it be. So listen, man, next game up, Bama travels to Mizzou. And Mizzou put up a good fight. Mizzou's a good team. I think they're another one of these teams that I thought would be good. I don't know if I thought their running game would be this good, but Ty Simpson out there, first game, if you just watched it as a regular fan, he looked like hot garbage. Since then, he playing like a Heisman. You know what I'm saying? So, did you think Mizzou had a chance, though, Stat?
Yeah, I mean, I picked him and I didn't pick him to cover. I was picking them because I thought they could win straight up.
Yeah.
I really like Hardy. Look, we say it all the time. It feels like Mizzou just grabs whatever running back they want out of the portal, and he's 1,000-yard back. But Ahmad Hardy was the number 1 ranked running back in the portal, and clearly it is showing because kid has been a stud. Obviously, we know the defense under Drinkwitz is going to be lights out. They are as advertised. And, hey, they had the ball with a chance to win. Can't ask for more than that at home.
Yeah, so they got Caden Proctor ran the screen play against the Dogs. He lining up in the Wildcat at Mizzou. If nothing else, this is showing how athletic this left tackle is. It's probably a top 5 pick coming up. But if he wasn't a top 5 pick, he definitely out here showing that athleticism trying to get there. And Bama uses him like, hey man, they go. One thing I'll say about their offense, they using everything they got. They squeezing all that juice out of everything they got, even when Ryan Williams don't get a touch.
I'm gonna tell you something, Coach. That look cool, but he need to start doing that, bro. You got too much money on the line, be having folk hitting you all in your leg like a tackle. Stop playing, man. You got too many athletes, you know what I'm saying, on that team to be doing that. Hey, sometimes you gotta make some business decision, man.
Oh man, so you think you need
his draft stock ain't going no higher because they giving him the ball off left tackle, left guard. You know what I'm saying? His stock ain't got nothing.
Hey, he jumping over folk, getting the fur down, dog. Hey man, shout out, but hey, Ty Simpson out there dotting people up. Jeremy Bernard, who I thought would be their best receiver coming in, has proven so. Isaiah Horton is coming on. Ryan Williams, again, I think he only got like 1 target, maybe 2. I think it was. But I don't know if he had any catches on Saturday. Stat.
Goose egg.
What you think going on?
Sophomore slump. Just a little sophomore.
He ain't got nothing to do with the targets.
That's true.
I think this offseason he focused too much on playing video games on Twitch, trying to create a brand and a streaming channel. Like, bro, get your behind in the weight room, get your behind on the practice field, run some routes. Like, he focusing on the wrong things.
But he can't control if they don't throw it to him, though. I think they only threw it to him twice all game.
Right, but that shows there's clearly a chemistry issue between him and Ty. So it's like, why is that? Maybe he don't practice hard. He too worried about, man, I can't go hard. I got to go home and stream for 6 hours tonight.
I think they did say he got some property down there in Alabama with a big house with all his family there, and he has.
I think it's that. I don't think it's that he's not taking it serious. I think it's too much pressure on him from his
too much outside
noise on him. I would like for him, it'd be nice. And I'm not saying he stays with them, but just that to be, for that to come out. And that's not to say that no other player is in that same situation, but obviously I think mentally it's affecting him, whether it's drop balls or whether I don't know if he's practicing hard or not. I'm not saying he ain't, but it has to be some kind of chemistry. I'm not saying Ty don't trust him, but obviously Ty, you know how it is. Once the quarterback get out there and they get in their rhythm, you develop with one guy. And like I say, the last couple of games, Isaiah Horton started to come on, and we already knew what he could do coming from Miami. So they got a good wide receiver room,
And that fresh
I was about to say number was Brooks
17.
Number 17, and he looked good out there. So it's like you can't slip up. That's the thing about being at a school like that. You can't slip up because there's way too much talent around you, regardless of what it is, whether it's not.
But the only thing that'll keep them visible, coach, is that NIL deal.
That NIL, like because they gotta, because you feel like the coach is playing. You got to play the guys you're giving the most money to. So maybe they figure out a way to get him the ball. I'm also going to put that on Ryan Grubb as well. Like if he is doing what he needs to do, you still got to admit, we talked about this with Georgia wide receivers. You got to find a way to get your playmakers the ball. I get that everybody else is playing good around him. I'm not saying that, but you got to do that, dog. And I think Jam Miller, was he all right? I know he went down during the game. I didn't get a chance. Concussion.
Yeah.
So he may or may not play this weekend coming up, third Saturday of the month. Third Saturday in October, got to take on Tennessee. Tennessee's defense, at the beginning of the year, Tennessee's defense looked good. Lately, I don't know, dog. I don't know. They don't know if they always in the wrong, in the wrong coverage for the right play call, or I got to go back and watch that Arkansas-Tennessee game. The last couple games just don't look like Tennessee is playing that same hard-nosed defense that they usually play under Tim Banks. So. But shout out to Bama getting the win over Mizzou. I thought this game would be close. Win. Right. It was a tough win. Right. Mizzou, like Stats said, Mizzou had the ball with a chance to win.
I will. One more thing on the Bama thing. You look at what they're doing with Proctor this year and how easy we forget that when Nick Saban retired, he hit the portal, transferred to Iowa, and then Kalen DeBoer somehow convinced him to hit the portal and come back home. How different could that look had that not happened? And he was up in Big Ten country blocking for some no name.
Right. And then they got on the defensive side, they got Dijon Lee, I want to say 6'4", 6'5", something like that. Corner, I think he's gonna be and one thing, he got 2 interceptions on or he dropped one and then he caught one on Saturday, something like that, or maybe he had 2. But I think when they play zone, I would advise quarterbacks to stay away from this dude. He's got long limbs, long arms. He can cover a lot of space. It may look open, but it's not. And man to man, I might take a shot at him because 6'5", you ain't gonna be as fluid in the hips as somebody like a Devontae Jackson on the other side, something like that. But I think he got a bright future on that backside. They safety's playing good, so. Alabama right now, man. Who they got left? Let's see who Bama got left. Bama has Tennessee this Saturday. Then they got South Carolina, LSU at home, Oklahoma at home, East Illinois, and then Auburn at Auburn. Now, that Auburn game, if the team don't quit on Hugh Freeze, Bama has more trouble at Auburn than Georgia does. Georgia has
that game at
It's at Auburn. They always play Bama and Georgia at the same place. They either play them at home or they play them on the road. Now, while a lot of Dog fans say, "Oh, I hate playing at Auburn," the game at Auburn is typically close, but the Dogs typically pull it out. Hence the ninth straight win this year. Now, in that same span, Alabama is definitely taking more L's at Auburn than Georgia has. So that's going to be an interesting game. I think clearly Alabama's the better team, but we all know what can happen on the place. Last game before we get up out of here, UGA survives Auburn. Stat guy, your thoughts?
Tell it 2 halves. Auburn dominated the first half outside the last drive, and Georgia came out after the break, and Georgia dominated the second half better than Auburn dominated the first half. And tell it 2 halves, and I'll be honest, Auburn's lucky that it was not worse than 20-10.
I kind of agree. They absolutely put the boot to our throat. We only had 3 drives in the first half. I think before the last drive, we only had 12 plays. Our defense couldn't get off the field. They was pretty much doing all that they wanted to do and more. Then we get the field goal at the end, and regardless of how they feel, like you heard some of the Auburn players say that they thought it was a touchdown, but with that said, you got to still go out and be able to make plays. Be different if that play, again, you can change momentum and all, and Shawty, you play, momentum can do a lot for you. But if you got 32 minutes left, you got to figure out something other than 49 yards of offense in one half. Like, that was crazy. So, survive in advance, what I say for the Dogs, Shawty.
Yeah, man, y'all summed it up, man. I can't say too much more. It's a tale of 2 halves to stat guy point, which is something that we have had a problem with. I mean, we have been successful. Granted, we are winning, but it's just something that me personally, I would not like to see in a team. I think we need to do a 1-on-1. I mean, 1-versus-1 scrimmage first quarter out in the parking lot, and then go into the stadium so we'll be warmed up and ready to play. Because I don't understand why we keep starting out so slow. It's been a theme with us. And to Coach's point, I mean, it shows how we make adjustments and how good and how dominant our defense can be once they are locked in. That's why it's so perplexing to see that the way we play. But it's a victory.
What it is.
It's a victory. You know what I mean?
And that's how we're taking one thing, for the Dogs. We can't be doing, like, again, you got an offense like an Ole Miss. I don't care if it's at home. You cannot get behind 21, 28, whatever, 14. I'll be honest with you. There need to be some striking, back and forth. I'm going to take a look at the film. I hope Ole Miss plays majority man, because that'll bode a little bit better for our offense. Hopefully we have Chauncey Bourne's back. He's dealing with a calf injury. But defensively, like Shawty said, like, we got to figure it out a little bit earlier. I get it. Auburn had, they had a bye week before we play them. Mississippi State's going to have a bye week before we play them. And Hugh Freeze was able to, dial up 25, 30 plays. It seems like once he ran out of, the fresh plays, and he had to go back to the offense. And then Georgia made his, and made their adjustments. Then they couldn't move the ball at all.
Because I'm not disagreeing with you or anything. It's more of a question. That's rhetorical, because you don't even have to reply. But my point is, why does everybody else script work? I was going, like, defensively or offensively, neither one of our scripts work in, the first or second drive. But everybody else's does. That's the issue that I have.
Right. And I think against the teams, like the Alabamas, the Tennessees, and the Auburns, the only game that I would say our script or whatever we plan to do work nonstop was Kentucky. Right. What's crazy is it didn't even work against Austin Peay, to keep it a buck with you. Like, it was a little harder to score on them,
But this goes back seasons.
Right. So in the second half, it's like both of the coordinators figured it out. But my thing is, moving forward, we have to figure it out before halftime. If nothing else, figure it out at the end of the first quarter. Because in the second half, the defense shuts Auburn down. The offense starts to move the ball pretty much, running on them, throwing on them.
We play a team that can score points. We can't afford to be spotting teams 10 and 13 points and all that kind of stuff.
Frank, stat going forward, Auburn gets Missouri next Saturday. Not looking great, bro. But it is at Jordan-Hare. Then they play Arkansas. So I would say this. They got Mizzou, which is going to be another slobber knocker. And I'll be honest with you, right this moment, I know it's at night at Jordan-Hare, but right this moment, I'm taking Missouri. But I'll see how I feel later on. But then they got Arkansas and Kentucky. Arkansas can score, but I don't think they can stop Auburn from scoring. And they'll have to deal with Auburn's front. Then they got to go to Vandy. And then they finished the year with Mercer and Alabama. Hugh Freeze, how many wins Hugh Freeze got? Just Kentucky and Mercer?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to beat Arkansas. I think that while Arkansas can't stop anybody, Jackson Arnold can stop himself. And And so I think that Arkansas game is the game that I have circled for Hugh Freeze's job. They're going to get beat.
Do or die.
Do or die. And it really
depends. Different with your boy too. I think they got a little bit more spunk with
with Bob Petrino for sure.
Different personality in the headset, and it's like
you see the way they was running the ball on Tennessee Saturday.
Mm-hmm. they look better. I hate it. Well, I don't want to say I hate they lost, but I was happy. It's no more. Matter of fact, that guy go here. I wish my bad.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think that Arkansas game is do or die because it's a game. You're playing a team that's already fired their head coach.
Right.
You can't lose to a team that's already fired their guy when you're thinking about if we should fire our guy or not. So I think that's the game because you look at it. I just don't see a world where they beat Mizzou. I don't see a world where they beat Vandy or Bama. And so because of that, you got to beat the one team left on your schedule that you potentially could beat. So if you lose that one, you go 2-4 down the stretch.
That's tough.
Might be donezo. And then not for naught, but we'll say. No, I ain't gonna say Kentucky ain't beating nobody in the SEC. I was gonna say, but that's.
No.
But and I will to just get back to the Georgia Auburn game. I just want to make one more point before we finish out for the night. I told you yesterday the play on the goal line is the difference between an elite team, a good team, and a team like South Carolina and Auburn.
Whoa, that's a lot. What are you saying ultimately?
So an elite team like Georgia, if that play goes
elite, by no means. That's
why he's talking about program. He's saying
program.
Okay,
so y'all got two.
Y'all got saying team, but
yeah, he meant program. He meant program. Yeah.
So if y'all are Auburn in that situation, y'all fumble on the goal line, I'm expecting y'all to get a safety. At worst, hold them 3 and out, get the ball back at midfield. If that play happens to a good program that's in contention and knows how to finish football games, they're at least getting the ball back, probably with decent field position. That play happens to a South Carolina and Auburn, the game's over. You just lost the game right there. And that's what happened. It was backbreaking. They couldn't get past that. For South Carolina, it was the penalty on the fake punt. Right. You get one little thing like that, and it just throws the entire game out of whack. And so that's it. When I look at programs, that's kind of how I judge them: is how do they react when negative things go their way or something goes off script. And so, kudos to Georgia I thought y'all got screwed on the play as well. I'd never heard whistles. I thought it should have been a touchdown for y'all.
They said they blew it dead. They said they blew it dead. Yeah, they said they blew it dead. But to Stat's point, when things go wrong, it speaks to teams like the Ohio States and Georgias and Bamas. When things don't go your way, you got to find a way out. You know what I'm saying? Like with Georgia this year.
We're more elite than they are because the way we play,
right?
Them teams ain't going through where we go. We spotting folks 2 touchdowns every week.
Right. Sometimes. And just because to that, think about, and then, to think about that, if we don't spot people and we get up 10-0, again, if we up 10-0 and we fumble the ball going into Stats point, and now you get it and you get 3 and it's halftime 10-3, we're not losing 20-10. That's just, we've shown that time and time again. We've been down 28-7, 21, and teams, like I say, the teams that Stats talking about, the programs that they're talking about, regardless of what the team looks like, they just had that DNA to keep fighting, keep chopping. You heard all the Georgia players that they asked, hey, how did y'all keep y'all momentum going? Y'all was getting beat 10-0 and all that. And like Ray Lewis would say, Coach Kirby just say, keep chopping. And it's not just coach speak you. It's like, hey, man, keep chopping. Eventually, it'll come out because you gonna have to be. I saw somebody on the social say, when you want to beat Georgia, Ohio State, and Bama, you have to play to the end of the ball game. It doesn't matter what the score is. You have to play to the end of the ball game, no matter how it's going. And that's what Stab's talking about. So, I mean, just glad the Dogs got the win. Like somebody at work was like, "How you feeling?" I was like, "Hey, man, we got a dub. Feeling good. Hey, 5-1, baby. Feeling good. You know what I'm saying? Feeling good, Billy Ray. You know what I'm saying?"
They moved up 2 spots in the AP poll, baby. We mad about. You know what I mean?
We beat Ole Miss 10-9. Feeling good, dog. Like this is. We said it, and Kirby had to tell the press reporters after the end of the game. It was like, hey, asked them about taking more shots and down the field. He said, hey, guys, this is what we are. We're 4 yards, 5 yards, 8 yards, 4 yards, 7 yards. Yeah. We're working the ball down the field. Will we take shots? Yeah. That's just not how our offense is set up. It ain't how our offense is set up. We said we was going to get better as the year go. We said it was going to be a whole bunch of slants, whole bunch of screens, whole bunch of curls, and an occasional go ball. And guess what we do? A whole bunch of slants, whole bunch of screens, whole bunch of curls, and an occasional go ball. It is what it is. And at the end of the day, you just got to get the dub.
But you know, one thing I saw, well, I don't want to jump too far ahead of our show tomorrow night, but it was just good to see we actually game plan to get somebody the ball. And I just leave it at that.
Facts. So y'all make sure y'all tune in on Wednesday when we give our in-depth preview for this upcoming weekend's football games. It's another good slate. Listen, we used to only say that probably 7 out of the 14 weekends, maybe 8 out of 14 weekends of college football. But now with the transfer portal, talent being spread around, people can, it's just like, I don't know if there is a bad college football weekend. So we'll be tuned in again. Tomorrow night, we got Respect the Hedges on the Fanatic Sports Network and on the Respect the Hedges YouTube channel. On Thursday, we got Jeff and the stat line. Who we got this year? You got OU. Oh, we got our guy Mike coming on to talk, the Oklahoma fan to talk with Stat Guy this Thursday. Shawty, you on tell him if you Mike, I don't know his last name. No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a guy named Mike. He was the first. He runs a podcast called the Air Raid Podcast. He was the first OU fan that I actually linked up with on YouTube. And so he said he'd come on. So tell him what you got going on, Shawty, outside of the Respect the Hedges.
Other than that, man, you can find me on Just My Damn Opinion Wednesday night. Me, Cal, and AP at 9:00. We're going to talk about, current football things, and we're going to obviously do our best segment, my most fun segment of the night. Stock up. Whose stock you buying, holding, or selling, will be team, player, or coach, man. I tell you what, this college football season. I want to
get rid of.
Hey, coach, this college football season is for real like the stock market. I buy Eli Manning. I buy Oklahoma stock. Why it's high? I could have got it low, buy why it's high, and they flame out. Now I don't lose money. You know what I'm saying? I got to hold on to it. I'm stuck on Oklahoma stock. I got to wait for it to bounce back. But yeah, catch me tomorrow night, 9:30. Just my damn opinion, man.
Hey, there it is. Stat Guy, parting words for the folks.
Hey, I'm just going to go ahead and throw this in. Shawty, please go ahead and put me on the books. I'd like to put the house down on that Georgia Tech Virginia ACC championship game. I believe in the chaos of the tiebreaker, and I'm sure that that's still going to be super low, and I could probably get some pretty good money back off of that deal.
That guy, to your point, though, real talk, both of those teams would have been hell of stocks to buy, and I bought neither one of those. Those are great stocks companies to buy. You could have got them for the low, and they don't got premium stocks.
There's some premiums out there at this point in the season that nobody was buying, including those two, Texas Tech. And I'm going to tell you, based on what they did in the playoffs, how they had nobody hard in the regular season, then got beat in the playoffs, nobody was buying Indiana stock overall. Who knows? Hey,
good point.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, y'all make sure y'all tune in on Wednesday, man, to Just My Damn Opinion. I'm going to be in the comments because I got something I need to dump. Because I don't like the board. I don't like the what they call it, the board members. I don't like the board members. I don't like the decisions they making for the organization. So
I see no future in the company then.
Nah, they making bad decisions out here. So we'll say that, man. We appreciate everybody for tuning in today, man. For my guy Stat Guy, shout it. I'm Coach I. That's been the SEC Snapcount on the Fanatic Sports Network. We'll see y'all tomorrow. We out.
Peace.